One of the things that I think is underestimated in the market is that we're living in an anomalous monopoly era. And it's funny because there's so many comparisons to Industrial Revolution, and in some ways we're living in this new Gilded Age. And we have these 7 companies, and they represent 40% of the S&P 500. And I think people extrapolate from that, and they say, oh, all businesses are monopolistic. I think people have a mental model that implies too much monopoly and not enough commodity. And what I think people underestimate about the big tech companies is that when the big tech companies were founded, when Google was founded, nobody thought it was going to be a monopoly. Think about YouTube selling for $1 billion. That would be crazy if you had known how big all of this was going to be. So nobody knew that Google was going to be monopolistic. And you can build monopolies when they're hiding in plain sight. Nobody can see them. AWS is the same. I think when nobody sees the monopoly, you can build a monopoly, and then you can extract margins on the other side. But AI is so different. Everybody knows that AI is going to be big. This is, I think, the irony of the AI, is that everybody knows AI is going to be massive. But if everybody knows something's going to be massive, then everybody builds companies. And if everyone builds companies, there's tremendous competition. And so I think the difference between the AI era and the big tech era, and it makes sense why everyone is over-indexing or over-training on the big tech era, because that's the era we live in. But the difference is that these monopolies are not hiding in plain sight. We all now know that if you build an amazing tech company, it can be worth $1 trillion. In 2000, if you told people that they could have $1 trillion tech company, they would have laughed you out the room. And so I think the market environment in which these companies are getting built is dramatically different. Monopoly profits are unlikely to exist. And by the way, final point on this, that's good for us. That's like good for everybody. Like, we shouldn't want monopolies to exist. Monopolies are bad for the consumer. The consumer wants to get things for free. The consumer wants to get things for the cost of capital. And I think that to the extent that there are not monopolies in AI, that's much better for how AI is going to evolve in a healthy way if it evolved in a monopolistic direction.